Hello and welcome to ILTV's Israel Daily. I'm Aaron Porras, and coming up in today's newscast, Israeli Mossad agents reportedly convince Iranians to sabotage their own nuclear progress. Meantime, European courts issue their verdict as Defense Minister Gantz stands accused of war crimes in Gaza. And finally, an incredible and fairly hilarious new campaign against cyberbullying. To begin, renewed strikes in Syria reported overnight. Syrian state media blaming an Israeli aggression for causing fires at the Latakia port, and this after some 5 explosions hit the port's container yard, leaving material damages and an unknown number of injuries. Governor of Latakia, Ismail Hilal, though, saying that firefighters have since extinguished the flames and were working to cool off the site. Israel, meantime, as per policy, not commenting on the strikes, but the IDF has admitted to frequent attacks in Syria in the past, targeting Iranian and Iran-backed forces. In fact, several alleged Israeli strikes reported in just the past few weeks, with seemingly increasing frequency. Jerusalem maintaining that Tehran's continued advance towards Israel's borders constituting a red line that must not be crossed, and Syria's Latakia port on the Mediterranean Sea acting as the main port of entry through which crucial supplies are flown into the war-torn country. Now, speaking of Iran, negotiators in Vienna reporting zero progress in renewing nuclear agreements, and this fact giving further credence to Israel's call for alternate action. But what kind of alternative, do you ask? Well, a number of new reports now shedding light on alleged secret operations to stunt the Ayatollah regime's nuclear program. Specifically, Israeli Mossad agents apparently posing as political dissidents to recruit employees at the Natanz nuclear plant in Iran and to convince them to smuggle in explosives disguised as food boxes. And then the explosion, going off last April, completely destroying the plant's internal power systems. Here to discuss this further, though, is author of Drone Wars, Seth Frantzman. Seth, thank you so much for joining us. Now, what does it take, first of all, to pull off an operation like this?
Well, I would assume, the original report there is from the Jewish Chronicles. And they've had some other interesting reports on this type of activity in the past. I think in general, the sense is that, the Iranian regime appears to be penetrated by foreign intelligence and that the regime is having trouble securing very sensitive facilities, whether that's Natanz or whether it's protecting some of the key figures involved in its nuclear program. And obviously that goes back, many, many years to Iran also having trouble with cyber attacks and being unable to protect some of its centrifuges from that issue as well.
All right, well, according to reports, up to 10 scientists agreed to sabotage the Natanz plant, but they thought that they were working for international dissident groups. What does this say about Iran's internal control, especially as anti-government protests in Iran are picking up speed?
Well, it would seem to say that, the Iranians can be recruited somehow and convinced to do, let's say, malfeasance and bad things to their own program. Although I think whenever we deal with reading about intelligence reports or leaks of this nature, you have to question whether that actually happened or whether that's messaging designed to undermine the regime or cause the regime to run in circles looking for its own, moles or double agents or whatever. So I think you always have to wonder whether, well, did this happen, or is this something that's trying to make the regime unstable and confused?
Okay, so what do you think? Into what category do you think that this falls?
Well, I just think we just don't know. We know that it appeared usually in foreign reports. Obviously Israel, only hints at, but it never really takes any credit for these types of things. So we've seen lots of foreign reports over the years, whether it's New York Times or Jewish Chronicle, alleging, that Israel killed this Iranian, scientist, and that obviously there's been other types of incidences at Natanz and other types of sabotage. So, and I think Israel's obviously on record as saying it does not want Iran to reach a certain red line threshold in terms of enrichment of uranium that would allow Iran to be quite close to developing and testing a nuclear device.